Ladies and jellyfish, welcome back to a very romantic edition of A.S.K. And today we'll be going over spectacular Spider-Man's many love interests throughout the show and ranking them from worst to best. Peter Parker is a pretty powerful and occasionally charming guy in this spectacular iteration of the webhead. It's no wonder a lot of ladies fall for him throughout his short-lived butt-kicking journey.
Humana comes to mind.
From Liz Allen to Gwen Stacy, MJ, and a few others, we've got a lot of choices to go through today, so let's kick it off with the worst. The first episode immediately pins the audience in Peter's high school love affair, starting first off with Sally Avril. Avril? I don't know. Peter has his eyes on her for about 5 seconds until she embarrasses him in front of everyone.
Why in the world do you think I'd ever go out with Midtown High's champion geek?
Yeah, she's not very nice to old Pete. Throughout the show, she pretty much fights to keep the social order in place and discourages other popular girls like Liz from dating Peter. She's pretty shallow and is only interested in the social status.
Peter! Did I hear you say you're taking pictures for the Bugle?
Ugh, annoying ass voice too. Reminds me of Icky Vicky. Betty Brant was taken straight out of the Raimi films for this iteration, as she's the slightly older, flirtatious secretary of J. Jonah Jameson.
See you soon, Peter Parker.
She pretty much just flirts with Peter throughout the first season, as Peter is constantly distracted from his other obligations.
I so need an excuse to get back to Betty, which means I need to take more pictures.
Bro is so distracted. He asks her out again, but gets rejected. I mean, bro, what did you think was gonna happen? She's 20.
You won't regret it.
It's just a maybe.
Wait just a minute. Bro, is this guy dancing with May? This might actually work.
I'm too old for you, and it's just too weird.
You think I'm weird?
I'm sorry.
Or not. Black Cat is a minor character in this show, but makes her mark very clearly, as she flirts with Spidey every chance she gets.
Hi, Daddy.
She's the only one here who isn't in Peter's high school and doesn't know his secret identity. I mean, she was foreshadowed in the Halloween party, but that doesn't count. They meet for the first time as she tries to steal the symbiote.
Get pictures for the Bugle of me and a hot cat burglar.
Hot, you say? In this fight, they develop a really nice chemistry, and her voice definitely helps with that. As the symbiote consumes Spidey during this episode, this black theme takes a hold of both of them, with Spidey and her flirting again as they hang off a building. I mean, come on, the ropes intertwining? This is definitely an allegory.
Are we going to be bad guys together, partner? Or just plain bad?
Damn, bro. They end up teaming up, someone inspired by her love of thievery, which will come into play, but this gives them a chance to bond even more.
Hold on tight.
Don't worry, I don't slip.
Not why I said that.
Oh, she wants him. I'm telling you, this whole thing is just an attraction to the thrill of Spidey, not Parker. She even kisses him, the first kiss on this list so far, and damn, she did all that for this expensive necklace. She supports his vigilante side, and is more of a fling than a stable partner. It's later revealed that her dad killed Uncle Ben in a super crazy revelation. This muddies the waters a bit, but hey, at least she says she has a crush on Spidey.
I've got a little crush.
Coming in at third place, we've got Mary Jane Watson, who is taken to another level in this show. Starting off as Miss Wonderful Personality, she quickly becomes one of Peter's biggest crushes.
She has a wonderful personality.
What's up, bro? Just wait and see. Aunt May's about to come in clutch.
Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot.
Okay, I'm not saying we all got a little feeling when we were kids watching this episode, but, I mean, didn't we, dude? Aviva and MJ. You know what I'm saying, folks? Peter takes her as his date to the ball, and this makes all the popular kids, including Sally, furious. She defends Peter, doesn't let the others mess with him, including Flash, and even steals Sally's date when she's being all bitchy and mocking her.
But if I can't dance with Pete, I guess I'll dance with... It's Randy, right?
Very.
This all happens after Peter ditches her to go fight baddies, but when he gets back, she actually gives him the last dance. Yeah, she didn't care at all that he left, which is a huge W for MJ.
Slow down, Tiger. It's not like we're going steady or something equally primitive. We're friends, okay?
Well, sure, but...
I'm gonna congratulate Flash.
Knew it was too good to be true, goddammit. She begins taking a liking for Flash, but still compliments Peter from time to time.
Gotta say, Tiger, you fill out that costume nicely.
She doesn't even stay along with Flash.
I like you, but I won't be your replacement, girl. This redhead's a free agent.
By the next episode, she's dating Eddie Brock. Or does this girl date every guy and their uncle in the show? She still cares about Peter, though, as she's the one to tell him about Aunt May being hospitalized, which is a huge deal. She does understand Peter's struggles and actually respects his feelings for their girl. In season 2, she pretty much becomes Gwen's wingman in this way, helping her and Peter rekindle their shared love for each other, which both have a hard time expressing. But of course, she ends up distracting Peter in the process.
Would you look at her? She's gorgeous.
but you distract too easy.
Ultimately, she goes out with Mark Allen, who ends up becoming the fire dude, but as she says, she's pretty much a free agent in the show, because pretty much everyone has the hots for her.
Maybe a little romantic.
Liz Allen is Peter's most consistent girlfriend throughout the show, and despite not being number one, she's somewhere in the equation for both seasons. Her growth is also the most noticeable, going from a snobby popular kid to an actually really sweet girlfriend who cares for Peter. It starts off pretty mean, as she gets tutored by Peter as her mark begins to lower.
Hey, who wants to waste their time with a textbook?
What a coincidence! Flash just texted me those exact words about you, Petey.
After she ignores him, Peter ditches her on their first encounter, and she immediately starts to like him.
Look, this tutoring thing is something you need, not me, so when you're ready to learn, let me know.
Liz? Can you hear me?
Damn, is that the secret, Peter? 2 seconds later and she already calls him Petey.
Petey!
And has a renewed liking for him after he treats her like ass. She follows him to Dr. Connor's lab, and he shows her the electric eels.
As scientists, we explore and expand upon those connections. Maybe as people, we should do the same.
Thought you said this stuff was boring.
Eel Riz, ladies and gentlemen? She's still Flash's girl by this point, but starts to like Peter. There are a few encounters here and there.
Heard it's down to you, Harry, and Hobie Brown. Good luck.
And by episode 8, she's already inviting him to the amusement park.
Everyone's going to Coney Island tomorrow. Think maybe you'll come?
Wouldn't miss it.
And yeah, they end up riding the rides together, she breaks up with Flash, and begins to flirt more and more with Pete.
You can web me up anytime, Petey.
By season 2, she serves merely to get between him and Gwen's blossoming relationship, constantly showing up and flirting with him during important moments. She even kisses him on New Year's, on the phone with Gwen. Way to ruin that one. By halfway through the season, they're basically a couple, and she even defends him in a big way to her popular friends. She develops genuine feelings for the guy. Can't really knock it. Much like MJ, she forgives him when he shows up late to places.
I kinda don't deserve you.
You kinda don't. But we'll work on that.
All this goes dandy until the Valentine's Day dinner, when he ditches her again in the middle of everything, and she still forgives him. And as she goes for a kiss, this dude puts his hand on Gwen's and says,
Sorry, Gwen.
there's no way. Her brother tells Pete to buzz off once he comes to apologize, and after he gives her a flower the next episode, guess what? She forgives him again! Damn, Liz. By the last episode, Peter decides to break up with her, but she can't have that. She makes a huge scene and does the breaking up herself, and then she cries. Honestly, she may have been shallow, but she was still way too good for Peter. She was a good partner to Pete, but she wasn't the one. That spot goes to... Peter's absolute best love interest by every metric goes undoubtedly to Gwen Stacy. The first thing we see of Gwen is the look.
I so was not giving you the look.
It's a funny running gag in the show and brings out Gwen's nerdy personality. She becomes Peter's lab internship partner at Connor's lab. She really likes Peter, and despite being a bit of a geek, she even defends him from Flash. He likes her too, walking her home safe and making sure she's well accounted for. And then he ditches her to be Spider-Man. He gets fired from the lab job, which separates them for a bit. Later he tries to rekindle their relationship, but is totally oblivious to her trying to ask him out to the dance.
The dance is only a few days away, and
I asked Miss Brant from the Bugle.
wow, that's great.
And he has to ditch her, yet again.
Except I just promised you I wouldn't put the Bugle before our friendship.
It's okay. Just be careful.
Thanks, Gwen. You totally rock!
By the end of episode 5, she even brings him ice cream when he purposely loses the football match. Wifey material right here. And we can't forget the look, boys.
Someone is so getting the look.
By the end of the season, her case with Peter becomes more apparent.
Of course I like him. I like him, he likes me, we like. It's a mutual like fest.
That's not what I meant.
You mean, do I like him like him? What if the answer's yes?
She even makes a move and offers to go to the hospital with him to see Aunt May.
Oh, are you going back today? Because I'll go with you to the hospital after school if you want.
In an admission from the writers, Venom sees right through Peter and tells him he loves Gwen the most, but he has to save her at the balloon parade, and she kisses Peter at the end of the episode. This is totally huge. Unfortunately, little momentum carries on to the second season, as from the first episode, things are awkward between them. He tries to make a move, but Liz stops it right before it could happen. After a bit, Gwen tells Peter off.
So I get it, okay? I'm not your first choice, but I won't be your second choice either.
Fantastic characterization here, and totally justified. Mary Jane becomes the ultimate wingman, and she tries to get them closer together. Buddy ends up saving her life later in the episode, and seeing her in trouble gives him the motivation not to give in. Gwen becomes a symbol for Peter's struggle, his ethos for being. She genuinely cares about him, isn't interested in the social order or the popularity. She loves him without even knowing Spider-Man, which is why she kissed him right after Spider-Man saved her. She loves Peter Parker. Nothing gets in the middle of that. Well, except Harry, who after an allegorical drug rehab comes back and reclaims his old girlfriend, basically using her as a status symbol.
Dad, Dad, I got the lead in the play. Plus, I have a girlfriend now.
Tells his dad that he has a girlfriend now, as if to objectify her for his own pride, right in front of her. This makes Peter all the more attractive to her, who in the next episode she almost kisses again, but it doesn't, as it would be cheating. By the Valentine's episode, it's clear that both Peter and Gwen are with the wrong people.
Gwen, you look like an angel.
Thanks, Peter.
Liz, I'll try to come back soon. Sorry, Gwen.
Damn, she did get better looking, and she stays that way, always seeming to distract Peter. Jesus Christ. Does she have a photo of Peter in her room? Well, yeah. They both admit their mutual love for each other in the final episode.
You're the one I want to be with. Hey,
Peter, I've been in love with you since 7th grade. No, not behind Harry's back, or Liz's.
Right. We have to break it off with them first.
You'll love to see it. Harry unfortunately hears this, and by the end of the episode, when his father is seemingly killed by Spider-Man, he takes advantage of the situation and keeps Gwen for his own pride, basically telling her that without her he'd probably kill himself. Gwen clearly wants to tell him, especially because Peter broke up with Liz, but she can't. She's all Harry has left, and Peter is left alone, once again. No MJ, no Liz, no Gwen, the way it all started. If only this show went on for one more season, we could have finally gotten the proper Peter-Gwen love story, without the tragic ending. But it seems like that day won't be coming anytime soon, sadly. I've talked about Spectacular Spider-Man's tragic cancellation in previous videos, so if you did enjoy this one, please consider subscribing to support my channel. Be sure to like and comment below which of Spidey's love interests you like the most. Even do your own ranking of these 6 ladies. I'll heart any that I see. With all that said, be sure to follow all my socials with the links below, and I'll see you beautiful ladies and jellyfish in the next one.